Madness doesn't sleep. It just changes shape. 16 hours of high-pressure basketball, hundreds of thousands of brackets systematically dismantled. We've watched the heavyweights flex their muscle, and the underdogs refuse to blink. From the opening tip-off to the final whistle, the map of the tournament has been rewritten. You've watched the highlights, and now we break down the fallout. This is the Empty the Bench Network, giving you the definitive autopsy on the day that was, sorting through all the debris, identifying the survivors, and bracing for what's next. Grab your seat. It's time for Emptying the Bracket. Hello again, my friends. Good evening and welcome to a night where the brackets aren't just busted, they have been lit on fire. We have seen the giants of the ACC and the Big Ten stumble blindly into the dark, while the so-called first four survivors are suddenly looking like Final Four contenders. The chalk has been washed away by a tidal wave of mid-major magic on opening night of the 2026 NCAA Men's Basketball March Madness and D1 Basketball Tournament. My name is Callan McClurg, alongside that man, Nick Morgasen, and we are officially emptying the bracket on this late night Thursday, March 19th, 2026, into a Friday morning on the East Coast. Nick, I think my head is about to explode from the amount of basketball we have watched this evening and throughout the course of the day.
Some of us are happy. Some of us haven't seen our teams play yet. We have a bunch of Illini fans who are probably very happy right now as they're going to bed right now on the in the central time zone. But a lot of great action in day one of March Madness. But before we get into all that, we don't have a page for this show because this was kind of a pop-up show that we're working on. But follow the network at ETB Network across all social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB Network. Like and subscribe. If you're watching right now, which is 60-plus people, please go over, subscribe to our YouTube channel, watch these videos, help us out, help us grow. We are over 2,100 watch hours right now as we speak. So please help us get to that 4,000 watch hour goal. That would be gladly appreciated, so we could do more of these little pop-up specials. Just for the example's sake, even though it does have to do with basketball, technically. You and I did a press row special on the WNBA, which we had almost 750 people watching that live. So we want to do more of these interactive streams to get more people in the action. So if you're watching us tonight and you want to tell us about what made you angry with your bracket tonight? What made you excited about your bracket? Did you hit a parlay on the first night? Which, by the way, parlays are sucker bets, but that's just my opinion. But did you hit a money line bet? Did you hit a spread? Did you take a plus the points like you and I will talk about later with Hofstra, which is tomorrow? And LIU, by the way, tomorrow, which is going to get absolutely demolished by the number one seed Arizona and probably the favorite to win March Madness this year. But tell us what you're feeling about March Madness so far after day one. A lot of upsets we have to go through. Some are were 8-9s, which again, I would call those a wash.
8-9s, the usual 12-5s, the 11-6s also today as well, which was kind of crazy to see.
I mean, obviously, I think the place to start is High Point in Wisconsin, by the way, which was a total... Wisconsin kind of got lost in its own game.
They did.
And that was kind of surprising, just watching that game. It just looked like Wisconsin didn't show up to play.
Yeah, and we'll get to that right now, Nick, with our leadoff game of the night, though. Again, the purple rain of the High Point Panthers shocking Wisconsin in a back-and-forth punch-counterpunch game. 12-seed HPU, though, beats number 5 seed Wisconsin at the Final Horn. Chase Johnston, Nick, scores his first 2-point basket of the entire season. A fast break layup with 11 seconds left to lift the Panthers past the Badgers, 83-82 to seal the victory. Nick, given though that High Point turned the ball over only 6 times and outpaced the Badgers in transition, was this maybe a tactical failure by the Badgers to control the tempo, or is head coach Flynn Clayman's mid-major chip officially a force that power conferences can no longer ignore? I think it was also, Nick, their first ever March Madness victory, I think, in program history. So what a feat for the Panthers. Incredible.
By the way, you're probably loving that because it's a small market mid-major program making it through to the round of 32. Yes. Hi, Christy. But I think this is just the first round is the tough, and this is going to sound cliche, but the first round is the toughest round of March Madness. But Nick,
1,000%.
what are you talking about? I thought it was the deeper rounds that are the toughest part of the No. I think that you have a better chance of the 1 seeds or 2 seeds, 3 seeds falling earlier in the tournament.
Agreed.
Because you don't know some of those teams you're playing that are the 16 seeds, like 14 seeds, 16 seeds. Like, you don't know these teams that you're watching or that you're playing. You're probably, what do you think? You're probably seeing them for the first time?
Easily, yeah, probably ever, or maybe you saw them earlier in the preseason, perhaps as part of non-conference tournaments or games or what have you.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. The first round is tough. Johnny Montalbano says it best on our network that he will never take a spread for a 1 seed in the first round because the odds are that there's a better chance they're going to fall in the first round than they are later on in the tournament. But a lot of close games. Duke, Siena, first round. What was it, 71-65?
Correct.
I mean, did anyone think that game was going to be that close?
No, absolutely not.
Everyone thought that was going to be a Duke rout. By the way, Duke was not healthy going into this tournament whatsoever. Injuries left and right. There were questions about Cam Boozer, which is Carlos Boozer's son, who's up there for Player of the Year.
Player of the Year, yeah.
Or whatever they call it. I don't know what they call the award in college basketball. But there's a lot of questions for Duke. And then obviously, just as I'm kind of spitballing around the scores, but North Carolina getting upset was another one.
That game was an instant classic, too.
Who did they play in the first round again? They played
VCU.
VCU just managed to come back, which was nuts. Like, it was kind of a seesaw game, back and forth. North Carolina led for a bit. Then VCU made a run. And then you had the overtime. And that game was probably game of the day.
I think so. I mean, if you want to kind of hopscotch around TCU, first game of the day, by the way, outlasting Ohio State. I mean, that was punch, counter punch all the way towards the end, down the wire. Nebraska absolutely clobbering Troy this afternoon as well. Louisville rotting South Florida. Again, High Point, as we mentioned, upsetting Wisconsin 12-5 again. And Duke really was in a, war of attrition this whole, day playing Siena, who again, Nick, I think that the broadcast team, though, did a great job to mention that, a lot of these lower seeds, Nick, like a Howard, for example, they're basically playing, Nick, with house money. But when you've already seen, though, twice in the last, I'd say, decade, that we've seen a number 1 seed falter, though, in round 1 to UMBC or to, whoever it might be with Farley Dickinson as well with FDU. The prospects of it happening again, just doesn't feel like it's going to happen. But that game, though, was like Duke just trying to knock off rust, it looked like, and it just kept getting further and further away. And it looked like, though, Nick, what I noticed, though, in this game, after halftime, I'm like, because if Duke loses this game, me and Zan are already out of the running for the ETB Network trophy for the ESPN.com group. So I'm over here kind of like, wanting to rip the bracket up and like, yeah, I'll move on to the women's tournament. But I noticed something, though, that changed. And this usually happens, Nick, though, as you probably know from your time calling college basketball. I've seen this in my time doing college basketball. basketball at any level is a game of runs where you go on a lengthy 15-0 run or a 10-0 run, a 5-0 run, but also that a team will shoot the lights out of the gym for one half, one quarter. And usually a team can't keep that pace up for a full game. Now, I give Siena, though, Nick, a hell of a lot of credit, though, because they were in that game. Obviously, they had the 13-point lead. It got away from them, though. But what I did pick up, though, Nick, Duke goes to a 2-3 zone defense. You know, the Jim Boeheim special from Syracuse. And Siena looked like they got hit by a Greyhound bus because they could not change their offense to adapt to the change of the defense. Where, again, you play man-to-man a lot, though, and then you probably go to a different, defensive play set to change the momentum. And it looked like, though, that Siena, as a zone defense does, as you probably had seen, though, from LIU or your time doing hoops, you force the shots to come from the perimeter or their bad looks from the elbow, mid-range, the three-point line, and then no one's down there to rebound. And then also, Nick, Duke, I think, ate Siena alive, though, with second-chance points, offensive rebounding, and points on the fast break, too. But I also wonder, though, Nick, a little bit, too, could a bit of blame be cast on Siena's head coach? Though he had done it all year, not one sub comes into the last 8 seconds of the game and that's already out of reach.
That's what I was going to bring up, that they stayed with all 5 starters the entire game. First of all, the body is not meant to play a full game at all. Now, I get it. These are athletes. And by the way, this is the challenge of endurance, making March Madness after all year competing. And how do you not use your bench
until the last 8 seconds when the game's in the bag for Duke?
Well, which makes no sense at that rate. But this game was close through and through for the entire game. If you give your guys even one breather, maybe they still are in that game. And maybe, can you imagine if Duke gets knocked off in the first round? What we're talking about? Well, everyone's brackets would have been. Well, first of all, a lot of brackets are probably destroyed right now.
Right here.
Including mine. But a lot of people, when you look at the brackets, and I'm looking at my own right now, and somehow I managed to stay at the top of most of our brackets here. Okay, so they updated the perfect brackets number. By the way, amazingly, there are still over 10,000 perfect brackets. How? What? How is that possible?
Even with all the upsets, but there's people out there who, I don't know if it's throwing darts at the dartboard or if it's gut feeling or artificial intelligence, how they still have their brackets good to go and how they're still going strong.
I wonder if those people entered the $1 billion Cal sheet competition.
Oh God, yes.
I hope Cal sheet. I hope you have to pay that $1 billion out. I hope you have to.
Please make it happen.
But just kind of looking around the rest, for the most part, everything else. But High Point is probably my upset of the day when I look at the entire bracket. I'm surprised that it was a 1-point game and it came down to the last basket. That one surprised me. The Longhorns beating BYU. Also,
that one is also one. Just real quick to go back to the scoreboard real quick. Vanderbilt beat McNeese today. That was a 5 beating a 12. Michigan State had a field day with North Dakota State. Arkansas also had a luau field day with Hawaii this afternoon, as well as Calipari. And the Razorbacks jumped out to a very quick, 11-0 lead. Then the Rainbow Warriors were behind the 8 ball all afternoon. I agree, though, about UNC VCU being probably my game of the day, too. The Heels, though, Nick, blow a 12-point lead. Terrence Hill Jr. outscores the entire Tar Heels team 17-14 over the last 15 minutes of gameplay to erase a 19-point hole, the largest first-round comeback in nearly a decade. And I don't know how to feel about this, Nick. Is this about VCU winning the game, or is this simply North Carolina without Caleb Wilson just choking away a game? I think it's just more about UNC not knowing how to close a game out.
I think VCU just wanted it more down the stretch.
Even that, I would agree with that too.
North Carolina looked lost. I think they went through a stretch, of 3 to 4 minutes where they didn't score either.
I think it was longer than that, I want to say.
But that game confused me a little because I thought North Carolina was going to possibly make a deep run, possibly. And
I think I had them out, though, in the round of 32, I think.
I mean, so if they had won, they would have, who would they have been up against? They would have been up against, Illinois.
And Illinois just dropped the hammer on Penn.
I mean, Penn had no chance against Illinois whatsoever, even though for the first half, Illinois looked a little slow out of the gate.
And I think that usually happens, Nick, a lot, though, with March Madness. As we kind of said, though, about Duke Siena, for example. I think there's a few times, though, that, and I think, Nick, J.A. Adonde said this a long time ago when Around the Horn was still on ESPN. He said, we love March Madness because, that one school might be able to take the lead, but eventually a team with the better talent, the better coaching staff, the better athletes is going to eventually win in the long run. So I think like with Illinois, Gonzaga, even upper seeded teams kind of knocking some rust off after a bit of a layover, getting back into game shape, what have you. But I also would say, though, Nick, too, I think a lot of times, though, the lower seed team, as we said, they're playing with house money, they probably exert all their energy, it feels like, though, to just keep the game close where it becomes the inevitable blowout that it probably becomes usually.
Yeah. I mean, I was just surprised that, like, Illinois came out something that they just completely demolished Penn, like in the second half. It wasn't even a contest. The second half, I saw Zan in our chats cheering away like crazy, and
ILLINI.
Him, Will, and Grant.
Yes.
Another one which I got right just based off the matchup, Texas A&M with the upset over St. Mary's. A lot of people had that, apparently.
It's money from my conference. They want to move on.
Right. And then obviously Houston just completely obliterated Idaho. That's not a surprise.
I think the late game surprise, Nick, has got to be the Billikens of St. Louis clobbering Georgia. Holy moly.
Yeah, that was a little bit surprising.
I mean, they came out of the gates like red hot. I think they were up like huge at halftime. And I was shocked, though, that a Georgia team, though, getting blown out by St. Louis.
I mean, they're not a no-name school. They're still a 9 seed. It's not like they were at the very bottom.
And they've also been like a very much almost, it feels like a March Madness regular since they made their big debut and they burst on the scene, about, I'd say 10, 15 years ago, probably.
Yeah. I mean, so again, an 8-9 seed is kind of like
flip a coin.
Right. Kind of like when you do the NBA playoffs. So usually you would have the 1 and the 8.
4 versus 5.
Yeah, the 4 first. I look at the 4 versus 5 as a toss-up series every single year. I don't care who the teams are. I really don't care. 4-5 is usually a neutral toss-up series. That's what I kind of look at as an 8-9 when those series come up. So like Clemson, Iowa
tomorrow. Yeah,
tomorrow. I think that's going to be a really good game. I do. Trying to see what other 8-9s. Do we have any other 8-9s left? Oh, Villanova, Utah State.
I was so torn on that one. Mountain West champs with Utah State, but they got to play Villanova.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel. I think Villanova's going to win that game. I think that, believe it or not, I think that's a bad 8-9 matchup, actually. I think Villanova is the much better 8 seed in that scenario. And then we saw TCU beat Ohio State, which I don't think anyone thought was going to happen.
No, I think Ohio State, I mean, I think they played well enough to win the game, but I think they ran out of gas, though, as this game wore on, though.
Yeah, that was weird. See Ohio State kind of just like give up at the end of the last stretch. Trying to think. So our new guy, Nate, who's a Michigan State fan, totally obliterated North Dakota State.
Oh, man.
92-67. What else we got?
I think, Nick, the other surprise, I don't know if we touched base on it yet. The play-in winners of Texas beating BYU 11-6.
Yeah, we started to talk about it. I don't know what's up with BYU, man. Like,
they are a program who has great regular seasons, Nick, but they seem to always crash and burn, though, in round 1 or round 2.
Same thing with college football, too. They had a great year this past year, too, and they just crashed out. And Texas has been known for basketball in the past, too. I mean, remember, Kevin Durant came out as a Longhorn. So
I think Texas just had the size advantage over BYU, which is a little surprising to think, honestly.
Size, rebounds. It was very interesting watching the slate today. Big men were having problems rebounding.
A lot of teams seem to be doing that, and man, I think interior defense was also a thing. I mean, North Carolina was basically dunking VCU into a vice grip submission, and they let them off the hook, as Dennis Green once said.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting first day. I don't think we were expecting this many upsets in day one.
No, I know I wasn't for sure. I mean, because I kind of went a little bit heavy today. I had Troy beating Nebraska because Nebraska had never proven that they could win a game in the tournament until today. South Florida losing to Louisville, for example, Ohio State losing to TCU, McNeese losing to Vanderbilt, UNC in overtime losing to VCU, St. Mary's losing to A&M, BYU to Texas. And then I ended the day at least on a good 4-game heater finally to get myself back to 500 and over 500 finally, which is nice, but still tough day for me.
Yeah, tough day. And also Cam Boozer, another incredible performance, 20 point, 10 plus rebound game. By the way, this kid's going to be an incredible NBA prospect when he enters the league, whenever that is. It'll probably be after this season.
More than likely one and done, probably.
What was his line? So let's see if I can pull his. So he had 22 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, a block, 5 turnovers. Not great, but that's people are not really looking at that. I think he has a chance to be National Player of the Year. I do. I think. I don't know if he's earned it, but I think he definitely has a chance. Again, another Nepo baby.
Yeah, him and his brother both, sadly.
Oh, right. I forgot Caden's on the team, too. But yeah, just look at the rest of the scores. A lot of blowouts in the second half of the night.
Yeah, a lot of them, as we were kind of saying. I mean, even like early in the day, though, too, Michigan State beating North Dakota State, Arkansas having their way with Hawaii, Michigan beating Howard, as we also mentioned it. Michigan had their way, though, with their, the size advantage, though. They were shooting the lights out as well for that game. Illinois, of course, beating Penn, Zaga beating Kennesaw State, and Houston just utterly dismantling Idaho this evening, too, to round out the day.
I mean, I guess we could just look ahead to the bracket because I think some of the more intriguing games are tomorrow. I mean,
there's a few of them tomorrow, yes.
Including 2 alma maters across our way. But I'll start with the Hofstra game first. That's in which bracket? Because I'm losing my mind here.
That's a 4-13 in the
Midwest
lower
bracket.
right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Number 4, Alabama. Number 13, Hofstra. I want to see if that line is. I can't look at it in DraftKings because the stupid New York rules. They don't put New York games in our app.
Well, for those wondering, Nick and myself are the only 2 members of the ETB March Madness group who picked Hofstra to beat Bama because we did so in wake of the news of the Aiden Holloway arrest, though, on press row on Wednesday.
Okay, so Alabama right now is a 11.5-point favorite against Hofstra. In case you didn't hear the news, we talked about it on press row a couple days ago. Aiden Holloway got caught in a off-campus I don't know, was it an apartment or a housing complex with 960 plus grams of marijuana products in his possession, which, just to do the math for you, that's over 2 pounds of marijuana, which is a lot. They still haven't determined whether it's sellable, even though I would say 2 pounds is enough for sellable.
I mean, even then, Nate Oates has barred him from the team for the remainder of the tournament.
Well, no, he barred him indefinitely. I don't know if he said anything about officially barring him from the tournament. I would, first of all, I spoke to Zan about this too. He said Nate Oates is not exactly Mr. Clean Bill of Health by any means.
He's got his skeletons in the closet.
And he said, don't be surprised if he tries to find a way to get him back. And I'm like, why? Are you that desperate to win?
That, and do you want the PR circus to be following your team around if you move on after round 1?
No. I mean, I still think Alabama will find a way to win, but I think Hofstra's going to cover. I mean, I picked them to win. Do I think they're actually going to win? I have no idea. But I think they'll cover. He's their second leading scorer, isn't he?
Yeah, or top guy. Also tomorrow, Nick, we've got, I'm just going through games by start time tomorrow. First game of the day, 9:15 a.m. Pacific time. Kentucky versus Santa Clara. SEC WCC.
Kentucky's going to blow that game out.
Even Mr. WCC over here didn't pick Santa Clara, Nick, because I think you know why.
Well, didn't Santa Clara go on a run not too long ago? I'm not mistaken.
I did not pick Santa Clara despite them playing in my conference because they have the NBA G League retread from Delaware.
Oh, that guy. Wait, he was allowed to play?
Yeah.
I thought he got barred.
That was Charles Bediako, who's also from Alabama, who's not allowed to play.
Oh, that's the guy I'm thinking of.
The other guy is playing still for Santa Clara. Charlie Darlington. Or Charlie Darlin. That's his name, yes.
Yeah, Kentucky's going to absolutely beat the crap out of Santa Clara. It's not even... I mean, I'm curious to see what that number is.
I also think it's the first time I said in 30 years, I think, that Santa Clara's made it when Nash was still at Santa Clara. That might be wrong. It's been a long time, though, for Santa Clara to get back to the tournament, though.
Let's see. So, wait, there's no way that could be the spread.
Is it really bad?
No. Yeah, they're saying it's going to be close.
It might be the Darlin effect.
They're saying Kentucky's only a 3.5 point favorite against Santa Clara? What? No way.
We'll see.
Where do we want to go? We want to stay there?
We can go to another 5 and 12 matchup that only 2 of our members picked as a 12 upset. Akron over Texas Tech. The Zips against the Red Raiders.
That's a weird game.
Well, Morgasen's one of the only 2 members of the host team who picked the Red Raiders over the Zips.
Why? Everyone else picked Akron?
It's a 12 versus 5.
Is it really?
Yeah, 12 versus 5.
I'm trying to find that on my bracket, and I can't find it.
I picked the Zips because I like the name and I like the mascot. It's a kangaroo.
Oh, there it is. Okay. I mean, they would have a favorable bracket. I mean, until they got to Sweet 16 against Michigan, which Akron would get clobbered by them at that point.
Arizona versus Nick Morgasen's alma mater at Viejas Arena in San Diego tomorrow morning.
I'm going to look this up just because I want to see. Let's see. Arizona versus LIU.
I think it was 35.5 in favor of the Cats.
Oh, God, no. You might be right. It's Arizona minus 30.5.
That was close.
I would take the plus points on that. 30, asking them to win by 31. It's their first game of the tournament.
Yeah, that's a bit much. Virginia, Wright State. I'm the lone man who picked Wright State because I can't trust Virginia in round 1 anymore.
God, Virginia versus Wright State. Does anyone even care about that game?
Raiders beating the Cavaliers. Iowa State beating Tennessee State across the board.
Yeah.
Bama Hofstra. Utah State, Villanova might be the best game of the early morning or afternoon slate tomorrow, I think, because it's an 8-9 game.
I just think Villanova's a much better team than Utah State.
Tennessee, Miami, Ohio. Obviously, Nick, the Red Hawks come in, though, in wake of a lot of controversy, as we all have agreed, regarding their 31-0 regular season, a stub of the toe in the conference tournament. They win a playing game clobbering SMU, by the way. And I love the Miami versus everybody attitude that they have right now with how they were post-game. Like, okay, who's next? I love their mindset right now.
That is why I did it at number 5. God! Are you kidding me? That's right! Who do you think you are? I am!
I mean, if I'm Miami, Ohio, I'm on house money at this point, the way I'm running. I'm just going to keep...
I literally only picked Tennessee because, the play-in game, you never know who it might be. So if it was going to be, regardless who it was going to be, I was going to pick Tennessee. But please, Miami, Ohio, go out there and get another W. Keep it going. Please.
I still think they shouldn't have been the first four in team, but
yeah, I agree 100%.
I mean, you're
terrible.
Freaking undefeated. You went 31-0, and why? Because you lost to the MIT.
Yeah, they lost their first
or
game
NIT, whatever it's called.
No, the first game of their conference tournament is what they lost.
But
Clemson, Iowa might be one that's also, Nick, probably one that I think is going to be very close to, I want to say. I think it's another 8-9 too, I think, on the east side of the bracket.
A lot of people, I think, have Iowa.
All but two of our hosts have Iowa. Dino and Liam are the only two who don't have the Hawkeyes. They have the Tigers.
So we all took Iowa. Most of us took Iowa.
The Johnnies in Northern Iowa, who is a March Madness hero. Everybody but Dino has the Johnnies.
Of course. I have the Johnnies going into the Final Four.
Oh, man. Is that New York bias I'm hearing?
No.
I'm kidding.
But
A mixed bag, though, Nick, for UCLA Central Florida, 7 versus 10. I'm not a big fan of Mick Cronin, so I picked Central Florida.
I just think UCLA is a better team. Don't get me wrong. Do I want to see more smaller teams make it to stick it to the NCAA? Yeah, I do. But I just think.
I mean, I think it'll depend, though, Nick, on what UCLA team shows up. If Cronin's being a you know what on the sideline and his team's not playing great and he's out there slapping guys on the rear end, it's not a good day at the It's not going to be a good day for the Bruins if that happens.
No, I mean, but Central Florida's not going to win. Sorry, I just don't think they are.
And then the inevitable games, Nick. Everyone's got Purdue over Queens University, Florida over Prairie View A&M, Kansas over California Baptist, and UConn over the Paladins of Furman.
That's probably the most not watchable matchup of the entire day.
Now, if Furman beats UConn, we know that Ben will be MIA from the network for the rest of the year.
Maybe.
Well, no, he's got UConn women still playing when they start tomorrow, I think. So he'll be fine.
He's still got the Celtics, who are probably going to make a run to another NBA title. He'll be fine.
And then all but two people picked Miami, Florida over Missouri. 7 versus 10, too.
I think Miami's the better team.
I feel like that game's going to be close. I really do. It might be. I mean, I still think, though, tomorrow's going to be a really good day of basketball. I mean, today was probably one of the worst days I've had just from my perspective with picking games, but still finished the day 2 games over 500, which is not bad after a 0-4 start to the day.
God, what did my record end up being? 9 or 9
10-6.
Oh, 10-6. All right, it's not bad. Can't
You're
complain.
making the playoffs in the NFL, sir.
That's true. Nah, some teams 10-6 wouldn't make it. Go ask.
If we were to do this, it would be Liam versus Zan, whoever the hell is the Kobe Dental Academy playing you, and then Will versus Trevor with Dino having
Nick
a first
D. I
round
want to
round.
know if that's your name. Seriously,
It has to be.
Nikki, if you're watching this right now, you need to tell us if you are Kobe Dental Academy.
Which was spurred on by the MTGP episode about as Nick and I call it, the fake outrage of basketball fans about Bam's 83-point game against the Wizards.
Yeah. Come on, D-Mart. I need to know if that's your name. Seriously. We threw out his name.
Oh, man.
But just looking at kind of the rest of the bracket, some of the matchups, because they've already been kind of filled in. Duke, TCU. Duke's going to win that one. What else do we have? Arkansas, High Point. I think Arkansas wins that.
Ooh, pig suey.
Gonzaga, which finally pulled away from Kennesaw State. Finally. Took forever.
Bravo, hats off. Salute to Kennesaw State, man. They've been a program who I've kind of watched a bit from afar because they've come to play in San Diego against SDSU. like early in the season to get out of the bad weather back wherever from where they're from. Talented ball club, man. I mean, not a lot of recognition, obviously, on the main stage level, but for the for Mr. Mid Major over here, they're pretty damn good.
The thing is, as you go deeper into the tournament, the majors are gonna shine eventually. That's just
I think
how
it's just more of a matter of who's going to be that team that will be like Loyola Chicago, for example, in 2018, if there is going to be one this year.
I'll tell you right now, if High Point finds a way to beat Arkansas,
that becomes our team right there.
But it's going to end next game.
Yeah, of course,
because that would be against Arizona.
Yeah,
that would, in the Sweet 16, that they would get absolutely demolished, eaten up, destroyed, chewed up, spit out. It would be a nice. Hey, if they made it to the Sweet 16, that's a pretty impressive feat for a 12 seed.
I mean, but there's got to be a Cinderella wild card lurking out there in this bracket somewhere. Is it High Point? Is it Akron? Maybe if they get through, could it be Hofstra? I don't know.
I mean,
but every March though, Nick has one of those teams or two of those teams. Like, think back 3 years ago in 23, we had a Final Four of UConn, Miami, Florida Atlantic, and San Diego State 3 years ago,
which was kind of insane. I mean, could Miami, Ohio go on a run considering that they kind of got screwed by
just to stick it to everybody? Absolutely, I'd love to see that happen. As I said.
I'm just trying to look ahead in the bracket to see where that would go. So if they advance, that would be actually, you know what? That would take on the winner of Virginia Wright State. I mean, that's winnable, I think. Either team, I think that would be winnable.
I think so.
And the thing you're going to run into, though, at that point, so let's say it's Miami, Ohio versus Virginia. That would be interesting. Let's say Hofstra advances. And actually, Callan, you could get a 12 versus a 13, depending on how that goes. If Akron could somehow upset Texas Tech, it's going to be hard to see. What did you write there? Hofstra. Oh, you have Akron and Hofstra.
I have that in my bracket.
If that's the case, I feel like Akron would win that game though against Hofstra because I think Akron has a little bit more March Madness chops over Hofstra.
I would think so.
Can you imagine if you had Akron versus Miami, Ohio?
I would not be opposed to it. Mainly, probably, Nick, just for the simple fact of the Miami, Ohio storyline, is we have, verbally yelled at the top of our lungs over the last week. You and Zan were very vocal about it on ETB Sports. Nick and Johnny were probably in a roundabout way even saying the same thing. We said the same thing on the lounge on Monday.
Well, the thing is, Nick, he doesn't care if the team is undefeated. He's very committee based. He believes in what the committee does. I don't. Have you ever heard of the eye test ever when you watch sports?
All the time.
I mean, they went 31-0. What other eye test do you need? You went undefeated.
Yeah.
If you're not going to count an undefeated season, then everybody else below should not count towards the tournament.
I agree. I
mean, I'm trying to look at the records. How many losses did Duke have this year? Can we find that out?
Yeah, give me a sec. Let's see. Duke, 32-2.
Okay, so they had 2 losses. Okay.
Arizona, 32-2.
Okay.
Michigan, 31-3.
Okay.
Florida, your defending champs, 26-7.
And I know what his argument is going to be, and what every other moron who knows college better than me is going to say, but you need to look at the 7 losses and see who they were against.
And look at what conference they play in.
All right. You know what? Just to humor me here, let's pull up the the Florida Gators schedule?
Gators.
Let's pull up the Florida Gators basketball schedule and see how 7 losses make sense for a 1 seed. Here we go. Okay.
UConn.
So let's see. Well, they lost. Well, the Hall of Fame series doesn't count towards the record, right?
No, every game that you see counts. So they lost to U of A.
Okay, so that we'll count that. That's because they're a number 1 overall seed. Okay.
TCU.
Okay. But they're not a top 5 seed.
Duke.
Okay. Who else did they lose to?
UConn.
Duke, UConn,
Missouri.
I'll tell you right now, Missouri's definitely not a top seed.
Auburn.
Auburn's not in the tournament.
Who else?
Who else did they lose to? As I'm scrolling through their schedule just to find it.
Vanderbilt in the tournament.
And Vanderbilt didn't make it, right? Or no?
Vanderbilt beat McNeese today.
Oh, right. Okay, but again, Vanderbilt's not a top seed. Tell me how
they were a. Hang on a second. Where are they? Where are they at here? They were a 5 seed.
Okay, but tell me where it makes sense how 7 losses beat 0. How does that make sense?
I wish I had an answer for you, but it's 3 letters. SEC. That's where it is.
Okay,
I know you don't care, but that's literally what that side of the argument's going to say. SEC.
No, I'll give you another argument, which people are refusing to say.
Oh yeah, SEC and money for a big name program.
Because I'll tell you right now, can you imagine if Duke did not make the tournament? What the NCAA would have had a conniption if Duke didn't make the tournament.
Of course.
Or who's the one that had 7 losses? That was Florida. Can you imagine if the Gators didn't make the tournament?
So let's see. So the top 4 seeds: ACC, Big 12, SEC, Big 10.
It's all the major conferences. I know. I get it. But none of them went undefeated.
Precisely.
We're missing. I know this is very elementary school thinking that I'm doing.
We're missing the point, but you're not going to be able to convince a committee full of people who look at dollar signs, look at conference abbreviations to convince them that Miami, Ohio, Ben Roethlisberger's alma mater, deserves to be a number 1 seed because they went unbeaten in a lesser-known conference, sadly.
Okay, but
I'm not trying to argue. I'm just pointing out what my perspective would be from the dumb shits in the room that put together this bracket every year.
But I'm tired of people, even here at this network, trying to tell me that you can't just go based off a record. Sure you can. You could go off a record. You play the records that's on your sheet. That's
Precisely.
it. Or, and Nick D and I have had this argument a million times, whether it comes to college football or college basketball. If you played a conference schedule up until the tournament, you wouldn't have this problem.
I mean, you would think, right?
And he's like, well, you can't do that. What do you mean you can't do that? They already F over the schedule to benefit all the major teams anyway. So how does that, what is changing it from making it their benefit to a conference schedule any different?
Who knows? I mean, I've tried to ponder that. I just don't know if it would logistically work for the fact that conference all year for basketball doesn't really make a lot of sense because you will still have to have the, hey, D2 school come and play us for $500,000, try to beat us, but here's the money to inject life in your athletic department. Is, I've seen that.
But wait a minute.
Time.
But wait a minute. You know how they say when you have those dumb games on your schedule, it might get you a win, but according to the rankings and the committee, they're not going to count that as a significant victory if you play a
And that
crappy
was
school.
actually a very interesting point that during the St. Mary's A&N game today, because they were obviously, praising St. Mary's for the year that they had. West Coast Conference has been them, Gonzaga versus everybody else, as I've known for the last 9 years of me working at my university at USD. And they even, Nick, to your frustration, even said, well, now Randy Bennett's got to go out there next year and find 2 quad 1 opponents to go and beat them because they're not going to have 2 quad 1 opponents in Zaga anymore because they're going to the Pac-12.
Here's another frustration I have, okay? So you get teams like, I'm trying to think, who was a team? I mean, this happens more in college football than it does in this situation, but who was the team that people didn't want to play? Oh, it was Notre Dame.
Yes.
People don't want to play Notre Dame because they don't want to give them any benefit of the doubt.
Because now they have that stupid loophole in place that, if they're eligible for the playoff, they now get a seed.
Well, if they're a 12 seed or whatever they are, they're guaranteed a...
Yeah, they have to be like in the top. I think they have to be top 12, like in the playoff rankings until the very end, I want to say.
I want to see if I could find that loophole just to give people an idea. Notre Dame has a guarantee that it won't be snubbed from the CFP next season if ranked in the top 12.
Yeah, that's what. Yes.
You know how ridiculous that sounds, right?
It's not.
What happens if they have 4 losses?
Well, if they win 6 games, they're going to qualify. They'll be in the top 12.
And if my math serves me correctly, a 4-loss team has not made the playoffs in the history of the college football playoff.
Now, don't say it too loudly. It might actually happen next year.
But I'm saying that's what that stupid loophole creates.
I mean, if they put a 3-loss Alabama team in the playoff, you're only going to put a 4-loss Notre Dame team into it next year?
I forgot they put a 3-loss team in.
What?
And I'm the guy who hates football around here.
No, I'm saying I forgot up until the moment you said it. And then Notre Dame went on its bitch fit, opting out of everything. And now we're seeing it in basketball.
And we talked about that a little bit on Wednesday where San Diego State, Seton Hall were the first 2 main schools who said we're going to regroup for next season. Guys are beat up, they're banged up, what have you. And also SDSU had a bit of a issue, and away from the basketball team, there is a logistical problem with the Aztecs that they would have played in the NIT or whatever other tournament they could have played in because their arena is being used right now for the upcoming rounds of the tournament on Friday and Sunday at Viejas Arena at SDSU.
The other question I have, too, with Miami going 31-0, what is your up from there?
Yeah, I mean, all you get for going 31-0 is you have to win 1 more game to make the damn field.
But I'm saying is, you know how they say, oh, there's always ways to improve on your season. How do you improve on a 31-0 season?
Yeah, how does one do that? Now, I mean, I don't know, though, if it'll have the same, Flutie effect as if you folks remember last Friday's Small Market Edition episode. We talked about some of these stories about a program like Miami, Ohio, having a run through March Madness. We'll have another cool one tomorrow morning on the West Coast during the first wave of games, talking about Sister Jean Dolores Schmidt, who, again, we all know as Sister Jean from Loyola Chicago, about how that team went on their run. But also, I think, Nick, what was cool about the episode that we did last Friday, it was a deep dive into many of the great teams that, pulled off the upset runs, like the Jim Valvano 83, Wolfpack and NC State, SDSU in 23, the 08 USD Toreros, the 2013, Florida Gulf Coast, stuff like that, where literally because of Doug Flutie's Hail Mary, the academic side, which I think people forget, though, Nick, they are still students, though, regardless of how much you're getting paid with NIL. You still have to go and have that 2.5, 2.8, 3.0, 4.15 GPA at my university to play athletics. That a run, though, through March Madness where you get up to 3 weeks of your brand, like San Diego State did 3 years ago, the influx, though, of applications, people who come here to maybe watch their team as a visiting fan, how it also helps the schedule when you can bring in a big name school like Gonzaga as a non-conference game to your, to your arena. You bring in Arizona, you go and play at Arizona, what have you. That there's other cascading effects here that help the school out across the board here. And if you're Miami, Ohio, you're thinking to yourself, as much as you and I are thinking, how in the world can we go 31-0 and have to still win one more flipping game to get into the damn tournament? And then if we go on a run, I look more about this Miami, Ohio thing. Like, I hope they go and beat Rick Barnes in Tennessee tomorrow, even though I would, hurt my bracket with Tennessee. I really could care less, because if they go deep, into the tournament, they win 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more games, not only is it a middle finger to the committee about how they snubbed them initially, but also what could that mean, though, for Miami University of Ohio as a whole, not just athletically, forget the athletics for like 30 seconds. What does that do, though, for people that might be trying to get into a university? Hey, this basketball team just went like 36-2 over the course of a season. I want to go there and experience, maybe experience playing basketball there, or be a part of the culture that they're building there. That there's other things here that people, I think, Nick, too often, more than not, don't really bat an eye at. Now, is it because I work within is it because I work within a D1 school who just hired a new head coach from Iowa State? Sure. And I've been around it for 9 years and stuff like that. And I see the effect, though, that it has, winning, losing, what have you, about how that toll is taken, with players transferring out, players looking for more NIL, players staying put, like, hey, I love the coach, love the culture, love the city, love what we're doing here, and things like that. A run, though, like what Miami, Ohio hopefully can do, has way more benefits than what we see, though, Nick, on a TV screen when it comes to just basketball. Simple as that.
So for simply making the 2026 men's NCAA tournament, a conference earns a single unit for each team, which is worth approximately $2 million total, paid over 6 years, or roughly $350,000 per year.
So with the West Coast Conference getting 3 teams in, there's 2 for what, $6 million right there?
Well, it's 3 units. It's worth up to $2 million. It's based on units. So I think that's 1 unit per.
That makes sense.
So that's 3 units. But just for qualifying for the field of 68 earns a unit worth roughly $2 million over 6 years. Each game played earns an additional unit of roughly the same value, excluding the Final Four, which is now structured differently. So, and I just want to point out something else. When people say money is not the reason that certain teams don't get in, the 2026 men's tournament has 135 total units available. Now, if I do my math,
I just did some math, though, too, for the WCC, but go on.
So the math is, it's 2 units roughly per. We're talking about $270 million in units for the men's side. Just the men's side.
Yeah, and I think for the West Coast Conference with Zaga, St. Mary's, Santa Clara, 3 into the $2 million roughly is about $600,000.
Like 6.5.
Yeah, 6,500.
650,000. Yeah.
Going to Spokane, Moraga, and Santa Clara.
But I don't want to hear shit where people say that it's not money, it's competitive. No, stop. I just read it to you. There's $270 million being given out during this tournament for the men's tournament only. Of course, it's all about the money. They don't care if small market schools, but it's good for the culture and it's great Cinderella story. No, idiots. They want to flash the dollar sign.
Of course they do.
They don't give a crap if Santa Clara or UMBC or Loyola or all these schools that have gone historical runs, Fairleigh Dickinson. They don't care if these schools make it. Is it good? Is it good PR or good publicity for them? Yeah, sure. It looks good in the long run, but it hurts TV ratings for the NCAA.
Oh, and that goes to another episode I did about small market syndrome.
I don't agree with it. I'm just saying That's what the NCAA. They're never going to admit that. That would be admitting the quiet part out loud.
Exactly.
Because I'll tell you right now, you don't think the NCAA wants all 4 1 seeds in the final?
I think I have Duke, Houston, Michigan, Arizona in my Final Four.
What do I have? I have Florida, St. John's, Arizona, and Michigan. I have 3 out of the 4, I think.
I have 3 out of the 4, too.
But I think these are the best 1 seeds we've had in a while, too.
Yeah, I would agree with that logic, actually, that, Duke obviously had the scare of Siena, but again, like I said, any lower seed, Nick, comes out guns a-blazing, and they punch you right in the mouth, usually, as Siena did for a high majority of that ball game. And again, all the praise in the world goes to Siena, who, I think they won a lot of people's hearts over today, despite the fact that they lost, but they were right in the game to the very end. And then, Florida, again, 7 losses, defending champs, reeling, whatever. And then you've got Michigan, who looked really, really, really good today, despite the fact that they played Howard. And then we'll see Arizona versus your alma mater tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and my alma mater is going to get embarrassed tomorrow morning, but I'll be watching it. It's the secondary game, right?
I think it's the 9:45 a.m. or 10 a.m. game.
It's at 1:35 p.m. Eastern, so the 10:35 Pacific game.
From the Mayhaus Arena in San Diego, California.
I'll be watching, but I know Arizona's going to beat the living you-know-what out of LIU. Do I think it's going to be a cover at the minus 30.5? I don't think so, but
if LIU takes the lead, you should just take a picture of your TV and hold on to it forever.
Yeah, first basket, 2-0. There it is. I win. I don't know, but I made this example on PR the other day. I'll say it again. Think of this as the NBA, who's never going to admit the quiet part out loud.
Oh, of course.
That they want Celtics Lakers. If they could have Celtics Lakers every single year, or Knicks Lakers, so that they could move the NBA Finals between New York and LA, so that they could have the celebrities sitting at Madison Square Garden, the celebrities at Crypto.com Arena, Staples Center.
Staples Center. Get it right.
They would be lying to you, because when they're asked that question, no, we want the best competition. We made the best man win. Blah, blah. That's called lying. Or better yet,
why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop you fucking lying.
They want the Celtics and the Lakers every year. I mean, heck, I'll tell you right now, the NBA probably had a drool bucket for 4 straight NBA finals between the Cavs and the Warriors, for crying out loud. You get LeBron versus Steph Curry. You don't think they love that for 4 years straight?
Yeah, I mean, and then you got Lakers Celtics with Kobe in his prime, still in both 2008 and 2010.
Okay, but at least it wasn't back to back.
And then you had Lakers, Philly, Lakers, New Jersey, Lakers, Pacers.
Well, that was just the Lakers being dominant, though. I think that's a little different.
But still, you had the upper Northeast with New York, New Jersey being occupied by the Nets. You had Philadelphia, and then you had Reggie Miller and the Pacers at the very end of their tenure at one point.
I mean, to be honest, I think sometimes the conference finals series are better than the NBA finals series sometimes. Come on, Knicks Pacers back in the day, Reggie Miller, 9 points in 9 seconds. I mean, that'll always be the funny to this day. I mean, Spike
Miller
Lee,
time, baby.
Him versus Spike Lee. We don't get that anymore. Now it's all about, how do we get the best teams in? How do we get all the stars to play in the games? How do we get the all-stars to participate in the dunk contest? It's no longer about good competition. It's how do we skew the competition to make sure that the big names get in? Same thing with the tournament. You really think anyone will? Well, You think the NCAA tournament wants to see Sienna at the end of the tournament? Like, or Furman or Queens or Prairie View or Howard. Like, you really think they want to see those schools in the Final Four? I personally would, because that would, like you said, that would be a big middle finger to.
Oh yeah,
to the
that's why I
NCAA.
thought it was great when San Diego State got to play UConn and got their doors blown up. But hey, it's San Diego making the national title game over Florida Atlantic,
Which was kind of crazy, actually. I mean, I'd be ecstatic if St. John's made the Final Four this year. Like, I think that'd be an incredible story. Come on now.
Oh, especially for Rick Pitino and his career and his Hall of Fame status.
Can you imagine just like on his Hall of Fame status, strippers and hookers and a national title? Talk about hooking one in.
Oh, wow.
Yes, you're welcome, America. I'm here all night.
Oh, man. Well, we're not here all night because we're going to be getting out of here right now after a nice opening salvo for the Emptying the Bracket show, one of our new projects that we have put together. This is our second version of a pop-up show that, again, will be here sporadically when time allows us to be here to do the program over the course of this tournament. We might do some women's coverage, too, again, when time allows us to do so. And this is a good opening test run, again, Nick, for a pop-up show for in about 3 months when the World Cup begins in June.
I think that might get more views. I mean, by the way, 128 people watched tonight. Bravo to the people watching tonight. It did its job. Maybe we'll try to do it a little earlier. Maybe we'll do some live look-in maybe during when the games are actually on.
Yes.
But I think this is a good place to stop. If you like what you're watching right now, Emptying the Bracket, or any of our shows that we do across the Empty the Bench network platform, follow us on social media at ETB Network. Like, follow, subscribe, leave a comment, even if it's hating me for something I did on Press Row.
Why is it always you that's like the target of everyone's vitriol every damn show that you do on this platform?
Apparently, I was too mean to MD on Press Row, and someone took it out on me. But unfortunately, I have a thick skin, unlike some people. But leave a comment, whether it's mean, ugly, indifferent, nice. Notice I said nice last. But people think Nick is the villain. Yeah, it sounds about right.
I'll start calling you Darth Vader pretty soon.
Luke, I am your father. That's not a very good Darth Vader impression. But yeah, youtube.com/ETB Network. Like, subscribe, watch, help us with our watch hours. We are almost at we're near our 3,000 watch hour goal to start. And if we get to 3,000 watch hours, we can bring some more exclusive member content to the YouTube channel as well. And then once we hit 4,000 hours, we get monetization. All the training wheels are off at that point, and we can go ham, just like Miami of Ohio is going to.
Oh, let's make it happen, please, Red Hawks. We're all rooting for you here.
But that'll do it for first edition of Emptying the Bracket. We'll try to get some of our actual college basketball people on here. I know a little bit, but I don't know like some of these other. I'm in. Remember the idea I said for the shirts, like to get all our different sayings? Like, I'm going to put the person and put a thought bubble for each person. And I think for you, no, this is Patrick. I'm just going to put that on a shirt.
I don't know. It might become hello, my friends, at this rate.
I don't know. What would it be for me, you think? That's a tough one.
I have no idea. I've
Fallacy
been here almost a year.
Oh, wait.
I've been here for nearly a year, and I cannot put a finger on it still.
Fallacy of a predetermined outcome.
Yes, that would be it.
That's one. Or Or screw you, Angel Reese is probably another one.
You're welcome, America.
Yeah, that too. Who else do I hate? Oh, I hate LeBron James. Something. There's more than enough things. Who else do we have stuff for?
Stone Cold Sophie Cunningham.
Oh, Stone Cold Sophie, since Christie's listening.
Yes.
Or Stone Cold Stunner.
Yes. Yes.
That's the one. That's the one I think that deserves the shirt. I'm trying to think who
So
else.
Sophie 316 said she just whooped your ass. Oh my God.
I'm trying to think. Oh, how about them Cowboys?
Tom. Where's the sound bite? Oh, there it is.
How about them Cowboys?
I mean, come on now.
I love it.
There's so many, but that one might sell out because of the Cowboys stuff. That one might be funny, actually.
Oh, but how do we get around like not using like the copyright of the team's logo?
You wouldn't. You would. It's just the person's picture, the thought bubble, and the saying. That's it.
How about them Cowboys?
I'm telling you, that one would sell out amazingly. I'm telling you.
Oh, 100%.
I'm trying to think. Like, what? There's so many I feel like we could do for you. I feel like. Try to think quickly before we
know. We may have to go back and like watch PR and see like what sayings I always
don't at me.
Don't at me. That's a good one.
Because I feel like you say that a lot. Don't test me. You know what? Don't at me either.
Yeah. You know who you are, people.
Oh, wait. Or screw you, Ken Rosenthal.
Yeah. I'm literally working on a damn freaking Substack about that stuff, believe it or not.
Well, there's a new story that I shared with you that's probably going to come up on next episode anyway of Press Row, which don't miss that. Next Wednesday, what's that date again?
March 25th. Hang on, I have the banner right here, actually, as a matter of fact. Here we are.
Next show for Press Row, March 25th, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern, with Jordan Robinson as our guest.
Yes.
iHeartRadio covering the WNBA and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, I remember Christy said that too.
Logan Paul, you ain't shit.
Speaking of that, did you see him and Gronk got into it earlier tonight?
Okay.
That's because Logan Paul thinks he can take on an NFL player, apparently.
I'm a dumbass.
Thank you, Charles Barkley. And that's a great way to end it because that sums it up for the way March Madness is. By the way, he was on most of the day.
Yeah, I mean, they were all over the place today. Like, holy mackerel.
Kenny ran away, but Charles stayed on. And Clark Kellogg. Ugh.
Clark Kellogg and his glasses.
And I think I think I had too much of Robbie Hummel already today.
I can't wait to hear Kevin Harlan tomorrow morning.
Good. Wow. Wait, which game was that one again where he's just like trying to hold on for dear life?
Oh, that was the Furman upset of Virginia because of how the Cavaliers threw the ball away in their half of the floor and they hit a go-ahead 3.
Wow.
Good. Did we see what we think we just saw?
You know what would be incredible? If we had an Iron Eagle Kevin Harlan game together.
You know, did you happen to see that Noah was calling the games for Westwood One Radio and his dad was at the table next to him calling the games on TV?
Yes, I did. That must have been odd.
And Ian even said, yes, we're sharing a damn hotel room together, people.
Well, I mean, that's how you save money, right?
Exactly. Father and son.
Well, I bet you they didn't even pay for that hotel anyway.
Nah.
It's all about the nepetism. No, I'm totally.
I don't know. I don't know if that's really nepotism there.
I'm kidding. Because we hear that about everybody else.
I was going to say, would we have to put Marvin Kennedy Albert in that conversation too?
I mean, those two sets of father-sons, Noah did a lot. Ian might have helped him slightly, but like, I think Noah's done a pretty good job, like with all the different stops he's had.
100%.
Didn't he do Clippers radio as like a teenager?
Yeah, and then one of my favorite follows on the web is Carlo Jimenez, who is now the radio guy for the Clippers on KLAC 570.
I was going to say, what was he, like 18 years old, Noah? Like when he was doing Clippers radio?
Maybe in order to buy a beer, I don't know.
And then what? And then isn't it true he did some Yes Network games at one point also?
I believe so, I want to say, yes.
That might have been a little nepotism, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think Ian does any games for the Nets anymore because of.
I don't think so. I think Ruco's done a vast majority of them.
I mean, did you notice though that a lot of the New York games are done by national voices now? You notice that?
I'm not surprised.
Golly! All right,
imagine if Marty Glickman was still doing Knicks games on here nowadays.
It's kind of nuts, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Mike Breen. I feel like Mike Breen is more known for national games now than he is for really doing the Knicks.
Yeah, I would agree.
Who is the backup now?
That's a hell of a question for a different time and day.
I don't even know. I don't get this shit anymore. But that'll do it for the show. Thank you to everybody who watched. Close to 130 people that watched and still watching as they watch.
Yes. As we ramble
about non-March Madness crap anymore. But yeah, we'll see when the next episode of this comes out. Maybe some
work this weekend. Yeah.
Maybe some other people will step up. That's likely thinking, but there's no logic around here.
Sometimes there is.
Yeah, not when ETB Lounge needs to be scheduled. What? Oh, did I say that out loud? Sorry.
Which, by the way, Nick, DiMartino is going to be your bartender of banter on Monday because I have to work in the evening on Monday.
Hopefully. Yeah. If we can get enough people.
Anyway. Who are you people?
Yeah. All right. That'll do it for the show. Hopefully be back sometime in the next couple of days. We'll figure it out. But great opening salvo to see a lot of people actually watched it. So he's Callan. I'm Nick. Have a good night, everybody. We will see you next time. Adios.
Bye-bye.